I stood frozen at the cafe entrance, watching her walk out with him. Sophia, my Sophia. Her hand rested on Jason's arm like she belonged there, like she had never belonged to me. I couldn't move. I couldn't breathe. Every laugh she threw at him felt like a knife twisting inside me. You left me. For him, I finally whispered, my voice cracking. Daniel's hand landed on my shoulder, steadying me. You didn't see this coming? I shook my head, swallowing hard. I trusted her. I planned our future. I gave her everything. She's gone, man. You can't change that now. I turned back toward the street, but they were already disappearing into the distance. My chest ached. My throat burned. How could someone so close betray me so easily? I don't understand. I thought we were happy. She promised me promises mean nothing to selfish people, Daniel interrupted gently. Right now, you're hurting. I get it. But let me ask, do you want to stay broken? Or do you want to survive this? I laughed bitterly. Survive? Survive what? Losing the person I loved more than myself? You survive by not letting this define you, he said firmly. By not letting her or Jason have that power over your life. I sank into the bench, staring at my empty coffee cup. She didn't even tell me. Not a word. Just gone. And him, Jason, he's smiling like he won the lottery. That's because he thinks he did, Daniel said, eyes hard. But he hasn't seen the real you yet. I don't know who I am anymore, I admitted, voice low. I feel humiliated. Everyone knew. Everyone saw me as a fool. You're not a fool. You loved. And loving someone doesn't make you weak, Daniel replied. It's how you respond that shows your strength. I clenched my fists. Strength. Right. So what? I just swallow this humiliation and move on. Not just move on, he said, leaning closer. You learn. You rebuild. You wait for the right moment. And when that moment comes, he paused, letting the words sink in. You strike. I swallowed hard. Strike. The thought made my chest tighten. But it also lit a spark I hadn't felt since I saw her with him. You mean, get revenge? Maybe, maybe not, Daniel said, smirking slightly. But you need to control your anger. Patience first. Strategy later. Don't let her actions ruin your life. Let them fuel it. I stared at him, absorbing every word. I wanted to hate her, to scream, to ruin her life the way mine felt ruined. But part of me also realized he was right. The storm inside me was raw. But if I could turn it into something powerful, something unstoppable, maybe I could survive this. She left me for money, I muttered, more to myself than to him. Everything we had, gone because I wasn't rich enough. And he acts like he's won the world. Daniel nodded. And one day, you might just show him what it really means to win. I laughed bitterly, the first time since seeing her. I'll show them. But not yet. Not while I'm weak. Exactly, he said. Start small. Build yourself. Learn. And when the time comes, you won't just survive, you'll dominate. I clenched my jaw, staring at the empty street where they vanished. Anger, heartbreak, humiliation, they all swirled together into something sharp and cold. I wasn't ready to forgive, not yet. But I realized something important. I wasn't done. This betrayal didn't break me, it was the beginning of something else. Something stronger. I will come back, I whispered, more to myself than anyone else. And when I do, they'll see who I really am. Daniel patted my shoulder again. Good. That's the spirit. Let's start with today. One step. One move. We'll figure out the rest. I nodded, feeling a strange mix of rage and determination. I wasn't the same man who had stood there helplessly watching her leave. Not anymore. And deep down, I knew this was just the beginning. I didn't sleep that night. My apartment felt emptier than ever, the silence pressing against me. I kept replaying Sophia's laugh, the way she clung to Jason as if I'd never mattered. I shook my head and muttered, no, I can't stay like this. Daniel called early the next morning. Up already? He asked, Barely, I replied. I couldn't stop thinking. I need to do something, anything to get out of this spiral. Good, he said. First, let's figure out what you can control. Your career, your finances, your future. I ran a hand over my face. I've been complacent, Dan. I thought I was secure. I trusted too much, and look where it got me. Then stop trusting blindly. Start thinking strategically. What skills do you have that Jason doesn't? I frowned. Business sense? Networking. Exactly. You're smarter than him, and you're hungrier now. That's power. We spent hours reviewing my finances, investments, and potential opportunities. Daniel kept challenging me. Why are you limiting yourself? Why not aim higher? Don't just recover. Build something bigger. I nodded slowly, feeling a spark of determination. You're right. I've been too small-minded, too comfortable. Comfortable people get left behind, he said. You're not like that anymore. So later I went into the office. My colleagues raised eyebrows. Hey, we didn't expect to see you here so early, one said. A mix of curiosity and doubt in his tone. I have work to do, I replied firmly. Ignoring the whispers, as I sat at my desk, I overheard a conversation between two junior analysts. Did you see Sophia yesterday? She looked happy. Really happy with Jason? I clenched my jaw, staring at the papers in front of me. Good for her, I muttered under my breath. But inside, I felt that sting of anger and humiliation all over again. Daniel's words echoed in my mind. Don't let them ruin your life. Let them fuel it. By evening, I found myself back in my apartment, sketching out plans, making notes, researching companies, and reviewing market trends. I realized how little I had done while distracted by love and trust. I wasted time, I whispered, but not anymore. My phone buzzed. A social media post caught my eye. Sophia smiling, Jason holding her hand, luxury cars in the background. I threw the phone onto the couch. Rage bubbled, but I tried to channel it. This anger wasn't just pain, it could be power if I used it right. Daniel called again. Thinking about her? Of course, I admitted. I can't help it, but it's not just her. It's Jason. I can't let him get away with feeling superior. Then don't, he said calmly. Focus on yourself, learn, grow. Opportunities will come, and you'll be ready. And trust me, karma has a way of working. I stared out the window at the city lights. I imagined turning my pain into strategy, my humiliation into a game plan. I'll rebuild. Stronger, smarter, and when the time comes, I'll show them what I'm worth. Exactly, Daniel said. But remember, patience. Don't rush. Let your actions speak. I leaned back in my chair, feeling the first flicker of real control in weeks. For the first time since she left, I felt capable. I wasn't just surviving, I was planning my rise. I whispered to myself, almost like a vow, I'm not done. Not yet. I'll get my life back. And then I'll decide how to deal with them. I couldn't sleep again. My mind kept circling back to Jason's mug, rich, untouchable in his arrogance. I kept thinking, he doesn't even know the storm coming. Daniel called that morning. Still thinking about her? Not just her, I snapped. Him too. Jason. I can't stop seeing his face. Good, Daniel said. Then let's channel it. What do you know about his company? Not much, I admitted. Just that it's flashy, profitable. But I always assumed it was stable, assume less. Check the books. Dig for weaknesses. That's where your power comes from. I spent hours reviewing public filings, financial reports, and insider tips. Slowly, I started to see the cracks. Mismanaged funds, over-leveraged deals, a few lawsuits quietly filed. He's not invincible. He's reckless. I called my lawyer. It's Green. I need to know if there's a way to acquire a stake in Jason's company without him knowing. Why? She asked, skeptical. Because I intend to. She sighed. You're serious? I've never been more serious. She explained legal loopholes, silent shareholders, and backdoor acquisition strategies. I listened carefully. heart racing with every word. So, it's possible? Yes, but it's complex. You need patience, timing, and focus. Don't let emotion ruin it. Clenched my fists. Patience is fine, but emotion is what fuels me. Later, I met Jason at a networking event. He laughed too loudly, showing off his latest acquisition. I can't believe Sophia chose me over him, he bragged to some investors nearby. I smiled politely. Congratulations must feel satisfying, he smirked. You're looking well, by the way. Happy for you? I forced a laugh. Always happy for friends. Inside, my teeth were gritted. Every smile I gave hit a storm. Every word calculated. He doesn't know what's coming. That night, my phone buzzed. Sophia.
Hey!
I miss you. Can we talk? I stared at the screen, heart hammering. Rage, confusion, and a tiny spark of curiosity. I typed back. Not now, she replied immediately. I just feel like maybe I made a mistake. I didn't answer. Let her stew. She still didn't know what she wanted, and that indecision only sharpened my focus. Daniel called again. You're obsessing. I'm not obsessing, I argued. I'm planning, thinking, strategizing. Fine, he said, but don't let revenge blind you. Make sure every move you make strengthens you, not just humiliates him. I leaned back in my chair, reviewing the spreadsheets, emails, and potential investments. I can do this. I can take control. And when the time comes, he'll see who really holds the power. I looked at a photo of Sophia on social media smiling, wrapped around Jason, flaunting their life. It should have hurt, but instead it sharpened my purpose. You think you've won, I whispered, but I'm coming. And this time, you won't even see me until it's too late? The more I researched, the more confident I became. Hidden debts, unstable partnerships, internal conflicts. It was all there, waiting for someone who could strike. And that someone was me. Daniel's voice echoed in my head. Patience, focus, strategy. I nodded, even though he wasn't there. Every detail mattered, every legal maneuver, every handshake, every smile at social events. Jason thought he was untouchable, but his arrogance was the exact weapon I would use against him. By midnight, I had a rough plan sketched out, discrete investments, leverage hidden shareholders, and eventual control. I didn't share it with anyone, not Daniel, not anyone else. This was mine alone. I checked my phone again. Sophia hadn't texted since. Good. Let her worry. Let her question. Let her regret. I whispered into the dark apartment. I'm done being the guy who got left behind. From now on, I decide the game. For the first time in weeks, I slept with a sense of purpose, not heartbreak. I couldn't believe how easy it had been. Quietly, methodically, I acquired the majority stake in Jason's company. Not a single person knew it was me behind the purchases. Not even Sophia. The thrill of control made my chest tighten with satisfaction. Daniel called that morning. You sound different. I feel different, I admitted. It's happening. I actually own a part of him now. It's power, he said. But don't get distracted. Stay focused, I smirked. I'm more focused than ever. Later, I watched from a distance as Jason met with his managers. He barked orders, face red with frustration. How is our cash flow negative? I don't understand. One of his executives muttered under his breath, Sir, we're overextended on multiple deals, and the board isn't cooperating. I grinned. That's what you get for arrogance at my office. My new allies, people I had quietly recruited during my acquisition process? The board is almost fully aligned, one said. If we push this right, control shifts completely within weeks. I nodded, my mind racing. Good. Keep it discreet. I don't want Jason to see it coming. Understood, another added. You've been careful, but your vision is clear. We're on board. It felt surreal watching the man who humiliated me struggle under the weight of his own mismanagement. Jason's ego had blinded him. His confidence, his arrogance, all now crumbling piece by piece. Later, I received a message from Sophia. I heard about Jason's company. Is everything okay? I didn't reply. Let her worry. Let her wonder if her choice had been wise. The uncertainty in her tone only fueled my determination. I reflected on my own journey, leaning back in my chair. A few months ago, I was broken, humiliated, and powerless. Now, I was in control. Every calculated move had paid off. Every sleepless night, every plan, every secret meeting, it was all leading here. Daniel stopped by for coffee. So, how's it feel? To watch them squirm? I smiled faintly. Satisfying. But it's more than that. I'm not just hurting them. I'm proving something to myself. I'm not helpless anymore. Good, that's the point. But don't let the thrill blind you. Remember, your goal isn't just revenge. It's stability, power, respect. I know, I said. But seeing Jason panic, it's poetic justice. I can't lie, it feels good to watch him struggle. He nodded. And Sophia? Still thinking about her? I shook my head. Not really. Not thinking about her, but I do notice how she's reacting. The rumors, the panic, the way people whisper. She's afraid now. And that's satisfying too. We watched a news report showing Jason addressing investors. His voice was forced, brittle, every sentence defensive. We're managing the situation. It's under control, he stammered. I laughed softly. Under control? He has no idea. I've already got the majority stake. Every decision, every board vote, mine, he's just pretending. Daniel raised an eyebrow. Don't let arrogance blind you either. You've won the first battle, but the war is still ahead. I know, I said. But for the first time in months, I feel alive, powerful. I feel like I can finally breathe. By evening, I reflected on how far I had come. The pain, the humiliation, the heartbreak, they were all behind me now. I had transformed that anger into strategy, my weakness into leverage, and every sleepless night, every whisper of doubt has led to this moment. I checked Sophia's social media one last time before leaving the office. She looked tense, almost fragile, her laughter forced. That small, subtle change, her unease, was the confirmation I didn't need to feel satisfied. Justice wasn't loud or dramatic. It was quiet, relentless, and invisible. I leaned back, taking a deep breath. I've come a long way, I whispered to myself. And this is only the beginning. My phone buzzed just as I was leaving the office. The name on the screen made my chest tighten. Sophia. I stared at it for a long moment before answering. Hello. Is this really you? Her voice trembled, soft, uncertain. It's me, I said calmly. I see you finally decided to call. There was silence. Then she whispered, I heard. About Jason's company. I don't understand. How did this happen? I let the pause stretch. You don't understand because you never tried to understand me, or the consequences of your choices. She sobbed quietly. I made a mistake. I never thought you didn't think. I cut in gently. You didn't think about how your actions would hurt me. You didn't think about the life we were building together. You chose someone else because he had more money. That was your decision. I know. She pleaded. I was stupid. I was selfish. I miss you. I miss us. I clenched my jaw, swallowing the urge to yell. Instead, I stayed calm. Missing someone doesn't erase the past. It doesn't undo what was done. You made your choice, Sophia. Now you're seeing the consequences. Her voice cracked. I didn't realize how wrong I was. I thought, maybe I could fix it, but now, you see that fixing it isn't that simple, I said, my voice steady. And that's the lesson you needed to learn. Actions have consequences. And every action you took led to this moment. I can't believe it. How did you plan this? Was it revenge? I leaned back, letting the memory of every sleepless night, Every plan, every calculated move, fill me. I planned carefully, yes, but it wasn't just for revenge. I needed to prove something to myself. That I could rise, even after being broken. That I could regain control over my life. There was a pause. Then she whispered, "I'm sorry. I never meant." "I didn't know you didn't know," I said quietly, almost sadly. "But that doesn't change what happened. Do you remember the night we argued about saving for our future? You laughed at me for being cautious. You thought I wasn't enough because I didn't have Jason's money?" "Yes, I remember," she admitted. "And I regret it. Every day," sighed. "Regret is easy. Action is harder. And now, you're forced to watch from the sidelines. I'm not the same person you left behind. I've grown, I've rebuilt, and I've learned that my worth doesn't depend on anyone else." Her voice shook. "Please, can we talk? Can we fix this?" I paused, letting the silence speak louder than any words. "Fix this?" I asked. "Some things can't be fixed. Trust, respect, integrity. Once they're broken, they don't return the same way. You've learned that the hard way. I thought maybe..." She trailed off. "Maybe you thought wrong," I said softly, "and that's okay. But I'm not here to give you another chance. I'm here to show you that choices matter, that your actions have weight, and that some doors, once closed, remain closed." "I think," she whispered, voice barely audible. I miss you." "I know," I said, feeling a strange mixture of sorrow and strength. "But missing someone isn't enough. It never was. I've moved on, Sophia. And you need to live with the reality that your choice has consequences. You live with the results." She sniffled. "I hope you're happy." "I am," I said firmly. "And I'll continue to be. Because I've learned something important. My life doesn't depend on anyone else. It depends on me." I hung up, feeling a calm settle over me. The storm of anger, betrayal, and heartbreak had passed. And for the first time in months, I felt free. I watched from my office as the news alerts rolled in. Jason's company was collapsing faster than anyone could have predicted. Investors were pulling out, employees were panicking, and rumors of mismanagement had gone viral. The man who once laughed at me, who flaunted his wealth and Sophia's loyalty, was now cornered and exposed. Daniel called, excitement in his voice. "You seeing this?" "I am," I said calmly, leaning back in my chair. "It's happening exactly as we planned. But it's more than just revenge now. It's a lesson in consequences." He chuckled. "You've come a long way. I remember when you were broken, barely able to sleep. Now look at you, calm, in control, and letting karma do the work." I smiled faintly. "Karma, yes, but also patience, strategy, and personal growth. I've learned that revenge without growth is hollow." On my phone, another alert popped up. Sophia had posted a statement. "I made mistakes. I was selfish and foolish. I see now what I lost. I'm sorry to those I hurt." I stared at it, heart twisting slightly. She looked fragile, exposed, humbled in a way that mirrored my past pain. This is her reality now, I thought. She's facing the consequences she never imagined. My phone buzzed again. "Sophia, can we meet?" "I need to. I don't know." "Talk to you." I ignored it. Let her process it on her own. Seeing her regret from a distance was enough. Later, Daniel arrived at my office. "People are calling, asking if you're behind the takeover." "I am," I admitted. "But it doesn't need to be public yet. Let them wonder. Let them realize that actions have weight." "Hey," Jason called me, voice tight and brittle. I don't understand. How did this happen? Who's responsible?" I paused before replying. "It's not about blame, Jason. It's about accountability. You mismanaged, you ignored warnings, and now you face the consequences. Learn from it. You're behind this?" He hissed, panic rising. "I am," I said simply. "And it's nothing personal. It's just business." But let this teach you humility." He was silent for a long moment. Then he muttered, "I underestimated you." "And that," I said softly, "was your mistake." Later that evening, I checked social media again. Sophia's friends were messaging her, expressing disappointment, shock, and quiet judgment. Her once glamorous posts were replaced with awkward apologies, strained smiles, and glimpses of anxiety. I felt no joy in her suffering, only a quiet acknowledgement that choices carry weight. Daniel leaned back in my chair, sipping his coffee. "You're different now. You could have wallowed, been bitter, but you didn't. You used this experience to become stronger." I nodded. That's the lesson. Revenge alone doesn't heal anything. It doesn't make you better. But using it to fuel growth, to take control of my own life, that's empowerment. "Exactly," he said. "And you've mastered it. You've transformed the pain into strategy, the humiliation into strength." I stared out at the city skyline, lights twinkling like stars below. The anger I had felt when Sophia left me. When Jason flaunted his life, it was still there, faintly, but it no longer controlled me. I felt steady, grounded, aware of my own worth. "I can move forward now," I said quietly. "Without bitterness, without resentment, I know my value. I know my limits, and I know that my life is mine to shape." Daniel smiled. "You finally understand it. That's why nothing can touch you now. You're stronger than the past, and the past can't reach you anymore." A notification popped up again. Jason resigning as CEO, Sophia's account private, investors still in chaos. The world around me had shifted, and I had played my part. Not recklessly, but deliberately, with calm and control. I leaned back, letting the weight of months of struggle, planning, and emotional turmoil settle. The storm had passed. I was left with clarity, purpose, and an unshakable sense of self. "Daniel," I said, standing and stretching, "thank you. You didn't just help me with strategy, you helped me see that I could survive, that I could thrive, that I could become someone who doesn't need to rely on anyone's approval." He nodded. "And that's the real victory. Everything else, the money, the control, the karma is just proof. You've already won." I exhaled deeply, finally feeling free. Then this is where it ends. I've faced my past, I've conquered it, and now I can move forward. I looked out the window one last time before shutting down the computer. The city was quiet, the chaos unfolding elsewhere. And in that quiet, I realized something essential. Life's real power isn't in revenge. It's in growth, self-awareness, and knowing that no one can take your strength unless you allow it, and I never would. I woke up to sunlight streaming through the window, feeling a calm I hadn't known in months. The chaos, the heartbreak, the anger, it all felt distant now. Like a storm that had finally passed, Daniel called just after breakfast. "Morning, strategist," he teased. I chuckled. "Feels more like a peaceful morning than a strategy session." "That's good," he said. "You've earned it. You've gone through hell and come out stronger. How does it feel?" I paused, thinking. "Free. I don't feel the need to prove anything to anyone anymore. I've realized that my worth isn't tied to Sophia, Jason, or anyone else. It's mine. And that knowledge, it's priceless." Daniel nodded. "That's the point. You've grown. Revenge was part of the journey, but the real victory is what you've become." I leaned back in my chair, remembering the nights I spent sleepless, plotting, burning with anger. I used to think revenge would make me happy, but it didn't. It only felt right once I realized I needed to grow to build myself, my life, my future. "And you did," Daniel said. "Every decision, every move, it wasn't just about Jason or Sophia. It was about reclaiming your life." I smiled faintly. "Exactly. And now, I'm done looking back. I've seen what betrayal looks like, what arrogance leads to, and how choices carry consequences. I've learned to trust cautiously, value myself, and act deliberately." There was a pause. Then Daniel asked, "And Sophia?" "Jason," I shook my head. "They're lessons, not people I need in my life anymore. Their actions taught me what I needed to know. And the rest, I leave to them. Karma works in its own time. I don't need to involve myself in their misery to feel complete." "Good," he said, "because you're living proof that healing doesn't come from revenge. It comes from growth, focus, and understanding your own value." I looked out the window at the city below, the sunlight glinting off the buildings, and felt a sense of clarity. I've spent months rebuilding myself, learning, planning, and taking control, and it's paid off. Not just in business, but in life. I've learned to respect myself, to set boundaries, and to never allow someone else's choices to define my happiness. Daniel's voice softened. "You're proud of yourself, aren't you?" "I am," I admitted, and not in a bragging way. "I'm proud because I didn't let pain destroy me. I didn't let betrayal turn me into someone I wouldn't respect. I turned it into strength, and now I can focus on creating a future worth living." There was a long silence. Then he said, "Sounds like a fresh start." I nodded slowly. "It is. I'll continue to grow, to build, to enjoy life. I'll take risks, make mistakes, and learn from them. But this time, for me. Not for anyone else's approval, not to impress anyone, and certainly not to prove myself to someone who already left." Daniel laughed. "Finally, the old you is gone. The new you. Unstoppable." I smiled. Maybe unstoppable isn't the word. Balanced is better. Strong, self-aware, focused. That's who I am now. I've seen the worst, survived, and transformed. And that matters more than any petty revenge or lost love. Chuckled. And it's satisfying to watch. You didn't just win against them, you won over yourself. I leaned back, letting the warmth of the sun fill the room. Exactly. I've learned the hard way, but I've learned. Trust must be earned. Self-worth is priceless, and revenge without growth is meaningless. That's the lesson I'll carry forever. Daniel nodded. Then go. Live your life. Build it, enjoy it, and don't look back. I won't, I said softly, feeling a sense of finality. This is my life, my rules, my future. And for the first time in a long time, it feels right. I stood, walking to the window, looking at the skyline stretching into the horizon. The city buzzed below, full of possibilities, challenges, and unknown adventures. And I was ready for it all. Here's to the future, I whispered to myself, a quiet smile on my lips. And to the man I've become.